I've investigated dozens of moisturizers for dry skin, and here's the uncomfortable truth. The ones marketed as rich, luxurious, or intense hydration are often the worst performers. In fact, the moisturizer you reach for when your skin feels tight, it might be the exact one making it tighter. So I investigated them all, from drugstore to K-beauty to luxury, and only a few actually fix dry skin. Let me show you which ones passed and which ones absolutely didn't. All my videos are non-sponsored. This means I don't accept payment from any brand ever, and it means that you have evidence-based information so you don't waste your money. It also makes me think, if you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, hit the notification bell, because it means I'm in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every YouTube video, and you can come and ask me your skincare questions. Starting off with the Dynasty cream. So the claim here is that it's a moisturizing, nourishing, brightening, strengthening skin barrier cream. Oh my goodness me. How'd you open this thing? Doing a pretty terrible job here, guys. Let's see if the ingredients actually match up to what it claims. Oh, nice. Beautiful packaging. I think 10 out of 10 on packaging in terms of weight and luxury. But generally speaking, jars are the least hygienic form of packaging, because what you're doing is we already have bacteria on our skin. We already have a whole array of fungus on our skin too. And every time you touch your face and you put it back in the jar, yes, we have a preservative system in the jar that will help to reduce mold, but it's only so effective for so long. So if you don't, for example, use your moisturizer in a relatively short time frame, you're going to cause yourself problems actually. Then you need to really throw away your jars. So our jar's a little bit old-fashioned. We have sort of moved on since then, but let's see what's inside it. So it starts off with the first ingredient being water. That's very common for most moisturizers because it's an emulsion. And so water tends to be about 70-80%. And in here, it's also got the second ingredient is very interesting. It's rice bran extract. On the ingredients list, it says Oryza sativa. This is basically rice bran, which is a plant ingredient. And what it does, it conditions and softens the skin. Plus, it's a chelating agent, meaning it prevents minerals from water from depositing on the skin. So this is great, for example, if you live in a place with hard water and you don't have a water softener. So in case you don't know, bran is basically a brown outer layer of the rice kernel. It's a byproduct of milling the rice. So it's really good for the environment and making sure we don't have waste. And it's rich in over 100 antioxidant compounds, including vitamin E, ferulic acid, also oryzanol, which is how you tend to see some brightening with this particular ingredient. Plus, it's a great humectant as it adds moisture to the top layer of skin. It behaves like a water magnet. It also contains polysaccharides and omega-3 fatty acids, which are also humectants. The next ingredient in here is glycerin. So glycerin is another powerful humectant. So this is actually quite a hydrating moisturizer, even though it's quite a light moisturizer and doesn't have much occlusives. The seventh ingredient in here is niacinamide. So that's where the strength barrier effect is coming from. It's coming from the niacinamide. Everything else in this product is a fraction of a percent, but it is a NAF-safe product, meaning no denatured alcohol, no fragrance, and no essential oils. This is very important for skin of color because we can't afford any irritation to our skin. So I'd say this is a hydrating moisturizer. It's NAF-safe. It's very light. I don't like the packaging. It would be better if it was in an airless pump from a hygiene perspective, but I would give this a nice 8 out of 10 because it does what it says. They haven't given you outrageous claims, which they haven't matched. They've matched quite reasonable claims. Moving on to Black Tea Youth Enhancing Cream. Okay, so hopefully they've done a better job on this particular product. I'll show you. Oh, nice. Oh, that is beautiful packaging. Listen to that. That's beautiful. So they've gone for like a shine at the bottom and matte lid on the top. But I think this to me feels like a glass jar. Yeah, this is a glass jar. So it is heavy. It does give the illusion. Think about how heavy packaging as it gives the illusion that this is a premium product. These are little tricks that manufacturers use and brands use to try and dupe you. The other one is fragrance. So do you remember the Christian Dior, for example? Fragrance moisturizer. It was so fragrant. When my mum used to wear it as a child, when I was a kid, that smell was so powerful, the Dior moisturizer, that you would smell her before she even came into the room. And it's from her moisturizer. And it gives the illusion of being an expensive product. Nowadays, we know better. We are more educated with our skincare. We know that fragrance is bad for us. But does Innisfree know that fragrance is bad for you? So let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so it is a thick jar. Generally, we don't like to do this. We don't like jars because what happens is, imagine I'm putting it on my skin. I've got different flora on my skin, different microbes on my skin. Then I put it back, my finger back into the jar. It's pretty unhygienic. We generally nowadays don't even do this anymore. This is a very old-fashioned way of packaging moisturizers. Now they're in pumps. They're in airless pumps because we know better. Even Cerave, for example, had its jar, and I think enough doctors came on social media, made a video about it, that they put a pump on their tub for that reason. You don't want to double dip, especially if it's a family moisturizer, like a CeraVe tub, it's a problem. But even with this, I would not be double dipping in this. As it is, we're trying to minimize acne, we're trying to minimize breakouts because it can lead to more pigmentation. So this is not the best packaging, even though it's beautiful and heavy. But let's have a look see what's actually inside the product. So it's more of a gel-based cream. It's got antioxidants, so it's got black tea in it, which is a beautiful ingredient, hyaluronic acid and niacinamide. And the thing with antioxidants is it should be in airless packaging, so this obviously is not. Ingredients are water, glycerin, butylene glycol, which is a humectant. 7th ingredient in here is niacinamide, so we're looking at about 1%, plus a added fragrance. So there's nothing in here that's anti-aging, and so I feel like that's sort of a fake claim, and I don't like fake claims. Considering there's nothing in this product that's going to be anti-aging, and that is the claim, and actually is more likely to irritate the skin and age the skin because of the fragrance, this is another no. Moving on to the green tea seed hyaluronic cream. So I think they've done the same thing. Yeah. So what happens is a manufacturer will have a mold, right? And that's why this is a very unique, you'll see this, it's unique. No one else is going to have this lid shape. No one else is going to have this curve. It is a unique mold for this brand. And so if you make a mistake the first time, then you make a mistake across the board on any moisturizer you will ever make again, unless you change your mold. And molds are not cheap. So when I was quoted for a mold for our brand, it was about £20,000, which is expensive, especially if it's a new brand. And generally, once you have branded yourself, you don't go back and do it again. So this is why if you make a mistake at the beginning, you're a little bit in trouble. And here we go again with the jar situation. This is very lightweight, much lighter than the other cream. Blends easily into the skin. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I don't even think you're going to like the fragrance on this, to be honest. Let's have a look at what's actually in this product. This is actually the worst product of the entire line. There are no actives in this product. It's just a highly fragranced moisturizer. Like, other than the green tea, which is very basic, there's nothing else in here. There's nothing else to say. This is the worst moisturizer I've come across in a very long time. So, wait. The other two options for you would be Vanicream or Cetraben. Now, if you have dry, sensitive skin, opt for Aveeno because it has oats in it, which is anti-inflammatory. So that's if you have dry, sensitive skin. Now, if you have dry, dull skin and you're looking for anti-aging properties, then you can use our CeraPep Brightening Moisturizer. This has got ceramides, peptides, stem cells, licorice root extract, which is a toberose inhibitor for brightening, plus humectants, which holds water in the top layer of skin, anti-inflammatories, and your green tea extract, which also helps with hyperpigmentation. Right, so the next ingredient is a daily moisturizing lotion. Okay, again, the positives are no fragrance, no drying alcohol, so that's great. It does have isopropyl palmitate in it, which is 4 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale, which means that if you're breaking out or getting acne on your chest or back, you might want to avoid this particular product. Otherwise, it's fine to use. The other thing I want to say is it's a common mistake to wear lotions during the winter. During the winter, you need to be wearing a thicker cream topped by an oil because we are basically in a very dry environment and water is evaporating from our epidermis. And in order to prevent transepidermal water loss, we need a thicker, fattier moisturizer, almost like a barrier to prevent that water from evaporating. So that's why I'm not a fan of lotions during the winter. They're fine during the summer, but in the winter, we just need to really take a lot more care with our skin. So the next product is the Estee Smoothing Cream. Now, they got the majority of this product right. So the positives of this product is that they've got a lot of emollients, they've got anti-inflammatories, and they've got moisturizers. So for example, they've got 10% urea,
which is a fantastic humectant. Again, holds water in that top layer of skin. It's got cetyl alcohol, it's got parky butter, it's got glycerin, it's got sodium lactate. So it's got a lot of good ingredients. Plus it's got niacinamide. And you all know one of my favorite ingredients is niacinamide for skin of color because it just does so much. Please go watch my niacinamide video. If you don't know about niacinamide, we basically all need it in our skincare routine. It's one of those ingredients that it reduces your erythema, it controls your sebum levels, it helps with acne, it helps with pigmentation, it helps to increase cell turnover. So it just does a lot. I'm glad that CeraVe actually uses quite a lot of niacinamide, which I like. Again, the positives are that they don't use fragrance, no essential oils. They've got a lot right. The problem with this one is that the fifth ingredient is alcohol as a solvent. I think they've done this in order to dissolve the salicylic acid, but I prefer butylene glycol to do this. The problem with alcohol is that it almost like destroys the top layer of skin and creates a free radical party. And it's not a good party, it's a bad party because free radicals are so bad for our skin. They damage the collagen, they lead to premature aging. And while they're doing it, they do it silently. So you don't even know that this is what's happening to your skin. And so just any time you see alcohol as a solvent in the top sort of 10 ingredients in a product list, I would run away in the opposite direction. And the damage actually continues even after you've worn it, even after you've washed it off. So the damage doesn't end when you put alcohol on the skin. It really does damage your skin barrier. So it's a shame. I would avoid it. They could have very easily sidestepped it and used butylene glycol instead. But CeraVe, if you're watching and you do decide to reformulate, then let me know and I will absolutely do another video for you then endorsing it, because just make that little tweak and I think it'll be a great product. The next product is CeraVe Moisturising Cream, and this is one that I actually wear myself and I recommend, and you'll see it in my video on best moisturizers for acne prone skin, for skin of color. So again, all has exactly the same positive. So this, remember, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know when a brand does something well, they'll systematically do it well for all their products. When a brand does something not so good, they will systematically do it for all their products. The reason being, as a formulator, we purchase our ingredients in batches. So I'll buy, for example, a drum of 25 kg or 50 kg or 100 kg of, say, niacinamide. And then guess what? I'll put niacinamide in all my products because it's such a fantastic ingredient. But at the same time, if you think that alcohol is a good solvent, then as a formulator, then you will buy, your 100 kg solvent and you'll use it in all your products. So this is what's going on behind the scenes. And that's why, generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, if I've done a video for you and I've basically told you 90% of the products are good, it tends to mean that they're going to continue to be good. However, if I've told you, if I've done a video and 90% of the ingredients aren't good, unless they come out and say, okay, we've made these changes, they tend to just carry on going down the same route. With the CeraVe Moisturising Cream, they've clearly bought a lot of glycerin, because again, it's glycerin, they've got cetyl alcohol, they've got petrolatum, they've got dimethicone, and they've got ceramides. So I'm pretty sure CeraVe must have bought ceramides in the ton, which is one of the best ingredients. And I love putting ceramides in my products as well when I manufacture for my clinic. And the positives here are there's no alcohol, no fragrance, it's non-comedogenic. I would definitely say go out and purchase this product. The potential only tiny little downside might be the packaging. And that's because ceramide is actually quite hard to stabilize. And often it's better to put it in a pump form in order to prevent oxygen. But, and in this, it's as a tub. So unless they've come up with a different stability, it is a tough one to stabilize.
Hey, listen, 90% of you haven't actually subscribed to this channel. That means that you're missing out on direct contact with me, because what I do is for the first hour of every video, I'm in the comment section. Plus, it means you get to join our online community in YouTube. You get to ask me questions on YouTube itself. So if you haven't subscribed and hit the notification bell, what are you waiting for? Do it now.
Okay, so moving on to the next product, which is their Cetaphil Moisturizing Lotion. So the positive here, they actually have a lot of good emollients, which I love. They've got glycerin, they've got hydrogenated polyisobutene, they've got persea oil, they've got dimethicone, panthenol. The solvent they've used is water, which is good. So no alcohol, there's no fragrance. So they're doing very well at this point. Very gentle, non-comedogenic. So I would say buy this for the body. I mean, they've got the basics right. After all the brands that I've reviewed who've got the basics wrong, I mean, when I see someone who actually gets the basics right, I'm like, yeah, you go buy it. Definitely, this one is fine. This is going to suit your skin. You're going to have no issues. The next product I want to talk about is their moisturizing ointment. And so here they use hydrogenated polydecane, which is a silky emollient. And they also use microcrystalline wax as the second ingredient, which is basically just a highly refined wax from petrolatum. So this is what gives the product a semi-solid texture. And it's a fantastic occlusive, something that you put on after you come out the shower. You pat your skin dry and then you pop the ointment on. And that's just to trap water molecules. In fact, what I tend to do is, because I get dry skin as well, is in the shower, I would wear my oilatum shower gel, which does a similar thing, but in the shower. And then I tend to either use a body oil, like sweet almond oil, for example, or if you have eczema, then this is a fantastic thing to put on as an ointment, because an ointment will stick to the skin a lot more than a cream will. Creams, you do tend to get water loss and skin can feel dry, especially in the winter, or if you swim a lot, for example, and your skin is just naturally quite dry. So an ointment and a heavier based moisturizer is fantastic for you. The next product I've reviewed for you is Eucerin Advanced Repair. I would say avoid this product if you have acne. The reason being, it's got glycerol stearate in it, SE, which is 3 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. And it's got carrageenan in it, which is 5 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. Now, you may have noticed that I've changed my pronunciation from comedogenic to comedogenic. And the reason being that my father called me up one day after he saw one of my videos and he said, "What are you talking about? Comedogenic. You sound like you're talking about a dragon." So it's comedogenic. It's comedogenic, Vanita. So right, it's comedogenic. And from now on, I will pronounce it the correct way. Right, the rest of the ingredients in here are moisturizers, emollients. So it's got glycerin, urea, cetyl alcohol, parky butter, and ceramide. So all excellent ingredients. And they're going to create a heating environment for your skin. So perfect for very dry skin. Just avoid it if you have acne. If you have dry skin, please purchase this product. I love it. Okay, so let's move on to the next product, which is Obagi Hydrate Facial Moisturizer, $43. The ingredients here are water, glycerin, capric triglyceride, parky butter, cyclopentasiloxane, acetyl alcohol, dimethicone. These are all very common ingredients found in most moisturizers. Even Cetaphil, for example, moisturizing cream, which is 1/5 of the price, has all these ingredients in it. So it's not a bad product. It's fine. It's just very expensive for what you're getting. On the plus point, I'm glad that they've added no fragrance to this product. So if you want to purchase it, please do. And even if you've got sensitive skin, this product will be fine for you. Okay, so the next product is their skin smoothing cream. The marketing says meant to hydrate and soothe the skin. So the positives here are the moisturizers. So they have got lactamide, MEA, amino acids, and sodium hyaluronate, which are all humectants and will hold moisture in the top layer of skin, which I'm very, very happy with. I even love the anti-inflammatories in this product. It's got allantoin, panthenol, and aloe, all excellent anti-inflammatories for skin of color. But then the negatives are that they added Kananga flower oil, which is a skin sensitizer. Their active in this was retinol palmitate. Now, as you all know, if you've watched my vitamin A video, retinol palmitate is the least irritating, but also the least effective form of vitamin A. Now, that's fine for around the eye area where the skin is very thin, or the lips where the skin is very thin. And in fact, I use retinol palmitate in my dark circles kit or my Lipex lip pigmentation kit. You need to do that because the epidermis is so thin. But on the cheeks, you're not really going to get much benefit from retinol palmitate. So that's just something to bear in mind. In addition, they went and added linalool in this product. And as you know, by now, linalool is fragrance, #1 cause of contact dermatitis. That's right. So, I mean, the fact that it was supposed to soothe the skin, you need to avoid essential oils and drying alcohols and fragrance. I mean, it's just, especially if you're going to put that word in the title, you know. So I'm really sorry, Dermalogica, if you're watching this, I promise if you reformulate with some of these tweaks, I will do another video endorsing the products. But the way it stands right now, it just needs a little bit of work. Revitalizing Supreme Plus Youth Power Cream Moisturizer. So this is £53 for 30 mils. It's got water, dimethicone, which is your silicone, glycerin, which is hydrating, and I love that ingredient. I use it in all my formulations, and then moisturizers. Then it's got acetyl hexapeptide, sodium hyaluronate, and then plant extracts. This is quite typical actually of Estee Lauder. They do use a lot of plant extract. Decent product, but it's lacking ceramides or any vitamins. So vitamin A, C, E, any other antioxidants. So it's actually a very basic moisturizer that's hydrating with low percentage peptides. So, I mean, it's okay, but the cost benefit analysis doesn't really add up. Plus it contains fragrance, which is a nightmare because fragrance can lead to contact dermatitis in 3 to 4% of the population. And in skin of color, when you get a rash or contact dermatitis, it can lead to hyperpigmentation. Plus it's a co-sensitizer. Thing about fragrances, you might not have any allergies or any reaction to it for 20 years. And then suddenly you're reacting to that product that you've been using 20 years ago. And you think, how can it be this product? It's because you also get delayed onset reactions too. And so for that reason, I'm not a fan of fragrance for skin of color. And so this product would be one to avoid. Re-Nutriv, and in the classic Estee Lauder style, it is packed with hydrants. So it's got alba oil, it's got glycerin, it's got acetylglucosamine and hexapeptides. It's also got 16 extracts in this product, which are skin conditioners. So those are all the positives. The negative, however, can you guess? Yes, they put fragrance in it. I mean, you can understand at this point, but I can understand why you'd be thinking, but Dr. V, is fragrance really that bad? How can it be that bad? Let me explain it. Fragrance basically means there are 4,000 chemicals a fragrance could mean. And because of intellectual property, we are not allowed to know which fragrance we're putting on our skin. Now, fragrance does nothing for our skin. There is no benefit. It's an illusion. You know, when you smell something, you think this is going to taste good. People think the same thing with skincare. They smell it and they think, oh, strawberries and mango, this is going to be great for my skin. It isn't. It's an illusion. And what can basically happen is you become sensitized to it and then you become allergic to it. So you could be wearing the same product for years and then become allergic to it after 10 years. In addition, if you become co-sensitized to other ingredients in that product, you know, suddenly you have a problem on your hands where you don't even know what you're sensitive to. So it's not ideal for those reasons. In addition, fragrance is actually not stable in UV. So imagine you put a moisturizer on with fragrance in it, and then you go out into the sun all day, and that sun is breaking, the UV rays are breaking down that fragrance into irritant particles, and that's now sitting on your skin all day. In addition, fragrance can lead to vasodilation, and that can exacerbate any skin condition that's taking place on your skin, whether it's acne, whether it's dry skin, whether it's eczema, dermatitis, you name it. So in conclusion, Re-Nutriv is a good product if they minus the fragrance. And I'm sure one day someone from Estee Lauder will hopefully watch this video and create a whole line of exactly the same products minus fragrance, and it will do well, because I do feel like we just want education. We just want to know what's good for our skin, and we want to be delivered something that's good for our skin. Okay, so moving on to hydration. Which products from The Ordinary are great for hydration? NMF plus hyaluronic acid is written as HA. So that's great for eczema prone skin. When you have eczema, you've already got less NMF than the normal population. And that's one of the reasons that the skin barrier is compromised. So that's a fantastic product, especially if you have eczema. Okay, so moving on to the next product, which is Adaptogen Deep Moisture Cream. And I'm just going to tell you straight away, I love this cream. I haven't purchased it myself, but looking at the ingredients list, I'm going to purchase this cream. I will do a review, I will do a review for you on my Instagram. First of all, let me go through the ingredients so you know what you're looking at. The positives are the emollients. So it's got sunflower oil, ethyl hexyl palmitate, glycerol stearate, squalene, parky butter, and jojoba oil. It's also got antioxidants in it too, and flavonoids, which means it helps with the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It's also got mushroom extract in it, also known as reishi mushroom, which helps to slow down the rate of tyrosinase, which helps to improve pigmentation. You're not going to get massive reduction in hyperpigmentation from this one ingredient with skin of color, because with us, we actually need about 30% actives of tyrosinase inhibitors in order to see a reduction in our hyperpigmentation. If you watch my work on the hyperpigmentation clinic, I mean, I've done about 30,000 cases of pigmentation for skin of color with a 95% success rate. And the reason why we have such a high success rate is because the percentage of tyrosinase inhibitors need to be so much higher than what's available in anything on the market. Basically, we're the only clinic in the world who specialized in pigmentation for skin of color. Right, that was a big mouthful. Okay, right. Also talking about reishi mushrooms, also got vitamin D2, copper, selenium. It's also got amino acids, which is why it's a skin restorer and a skin soother. So it's a great ingredient for skin of color. I'm very happy for you to use it. It's also got other soothers again, allantoin. It's got panthenol. These are my favorite for anti-inflammatory and skin of color. So in essence, it has no fragrance. So let's buy.
Moving on to the next product, which is the Barrier Restore Cream. Again, it's fragrance free. The second ingredient here is glycerin, so it's hydrating. The fourth ingredient is shea butter, so it's an occlusive and emollient. It's quite fatty, which means that it traps water in the skin, reduces transepidermal water loss. I love shea butter. The seventh ingredient here is niacinamide, so it's going to be a low percentage niacinamide. You know, you're looking at about 1%, but that's okay if you're going to use it on top of the peptide glazing fluid, which has already got niacinamide in it. The eighth ingredient in here is squalane, so it's a great emollient and again helps trap water in the skin. At this point, they use phenoxyethanol, so you know that phenoxyethanol has to be at a maximum 1%, and so everything after phenoxyethanol is at a fraction of a percent, including the peptides. There really is no other major benefit to this moisturizer other than the fact that it's great for sensitive skin. You know, it's probably got 1% niacinamide in it. It's fragrance free. It's a nafe-safe fatty moisturizer, but it really doesn't have anything else in it. There's no antioxidants in it. There's the peptides at a fraction of a percent and probably not that effective because of percent that they're using it at. And just nothing else. You know, you would just expect so much more. There was, you know, no anti-inflammatories in this. There's just nothing in this. I mean, it's fine and it's at a good price again, which is important. And I'm glad that she didn't take advantage of her celebrity status and, you know, bump up the price like Kim Kardashian did. I did a whole video on Kim, so you can have a look at that. Yeah, okay, it's okay. I mean...
Okay, moving on to the next product, which actually one of my friends loves to wear, but let's dive into the ingredients. So it's got chemical ingredients, chemical sunblocks in it. So it's actually got homosalate and octocrylene in it. This is not good for melasma. So if you've got melasma, you want to avoid any chemical sunscreen. Physical sunscreen is always going to be better for you. So avoid if you have melasma. The next ingredient on the ingredients list is glycerol stearate, SE. This is highly comedogenic. So that means avoid if you have acne-prone skin or if you have oily skin. All the good actives, cheekily, they added at less than 1%, which means they're not even in the therapeutic index, which means this is a marketing ploy. So for example, they've got tetrapeptides, ascorbic acid, tocopherol, and allantoin. Allantoin is your anti-inflammatory, but these are all at less than 1%. So unlikely to get any benefit from these, to be honest. Plus they went and added those same 5 fragrances again to the magic cream. I just feel like if you're doing this step by step and you do this for years, it may lead to issues of the skin. Sorry, just to be completely, perfectly, factually correct, it was only 3 fragrances they added in that last, the magic cream, which was linalool, citronelle, and geraniol, not 5. Sorry, I don't want to make any mistakes in these videos. Moving on to the next product, which is Medicate Advanced Night Restore. So the first ingredient is water, which means it's going to be more of a serum. It's going to be a thinner cream. The second ingredient here is squalene, which is an emollient, and it has ceramides in it. So, you know, so far I'm loving it. But then they added geraniol, limonene, linalool, lavandula, which is a skin sensitizer. So these are all fragrances. Plus, this really should be an airless packaging, or at least minimal oxygen around it, because ceramides are unstable. So on this one, I would have to say avoid. So the next product is Tolerance Extreme Cream, and I love it. I love it. It's very hydrating. It's non-comedogenic, no fragrance, no alcohol, no essential oils. This one is a keeper.
Right, moving on to that blockbuster, which is $50. Again, very expensive. It claims to be non-comedogenic, but it contains glycine soja oil, which is 3 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale, and cetyl alcohol, which is 2 out of 5. I love cetyl alcohol normally, and if you have, dry, normal skin, that's a wonderful ingredient to have. But actually, if you're claiming to be non-comedogenic, even though it's not purely based on ingredients, it's more about how you formulate the product, it does have an effect. And so as a formulator myself, it's not something you put in when the aim is to create something non-comedogenic. It is hydrating. It's got glycerin as a third ingredient, which I love, and squalene as a fourth ingredient, which is very good. It has a tiny percentage of niacinamide, so about 1%, and about 1% tetrapeptides as well. But it's got fragrance in it. So fragrance, as you know, can lead to contact dermatitis in 3 to 4% of the population. And that leads to rashes and then hyperpigmentation. And then it's a co-sensitizer, which means that you become sensitive to all the other ingredients in that product. So it's just not great. So for me, this is a product to avoid.
Okay, so the next product is Regena-C Moisturiser. So I would, again, only use the unscented version of this product. Avoid it if you have oily, acne-prone skin, however, because it does contain glycerol stearate SE, which is 3 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. But otherwise, you should be fine. It's got retinol palmitate in it, which is the least irritating form of vitamin A, but it's also the least effective. And also contains less than 1% of sodium ascorbate phosphate, which is your vitamin C, your water-soluble vitamin C. So to be honest, it really doesn't have any actives or very, very few actives in it, but it's a decent moisturizer unless you've got oily acne prone skin. So dry to normal skin, it's a moisturizer that's fine to wear at nighttime because you don't want to wear your vitamin A during the day. So the next product we're talking about is their Ice Ceramide Moisturizing Cream. I actually really like this product. The positives are it's got squalene and glycerin in it, which are fantastic emollients. It's got 3 different ceramides in it. It's got NP, EOP, and AP. So it's a very hydrating product. The only one thing, tiny little thing I'd say, it's got an ingredient called chondrous crispus in it, which is about 5 out of 10 on the comedogenic scale. So maybe I might avoid this if you've got oily acne prone skin. The other thing to note is it has a lot of root extracts. Now, majority of root extracts are very good, but there's actually not much clinical data when it comes to root extracts. And so that's why I'm always a little bit cautious. The reason being, we don't really know how you're going to react. And if you have quite sensitive skin and you don't know what you're always allergic to, it might be something that you would want to avoid. So always patch test it behind your ear. That's the only thing I'd say with the whole Sunday Riley range. It's all botanical and there's just not much clinical evidence, on the positives, the side effects, or the negatives on these particular root extracts. And there are just so many of them in each product. It almost comes to a point where you need to decide for yourself whether or not you're reacting. And I definitely think with this particular range, it's definitely worth doing patch tests more than other ranges where it's very clear what ingredient does what and you know whether or not you're reacting. Okay, so moving on to the next product, which is a moisturizing lotion. I'm happy for you to wear this product during the summer. I would avoid it during the winter. The reason being that the first ingredient here is water, which means that it's going to be a thinner product and it's not going to keep your skin hydrated for long enough. Again, it's got no alcohol, no fragrance in it, which is good. However, I'd also avoid it if you have acne on the body. Third ingredient here is isopropyl palmitate, which is 4 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. I would avoid it for those skin types, but dry skin during the summer, I'm happy for you to wear it. Anti-aging super hydrator. It's 150 mils for £17.45. So the positives here are, it's very hydrating. There's a lot of moisturizer. It's got glycerin in it. It's got butylene glycol. It's got sodium hyaluronate. It's got hydrolyzed hyaluronic acid. So actually multiple forms, multiple chain sizes of a hyaluronic acid, which is important. Don't forget hyaluronic acid is a humectant. It's a water magnet. It literally attracts water into the epidermis, the top layer of skin, and keeps it in there to give you more of a plump, hydrated feel. Okay, right. So the other positives are it's got vitamin A, it's got retinol palmitate in it, which is basically the least irritating, but it's also the least effective because it has to convert from retinol palmitate to retinol to retinoic acid, which is retinoic acid is actually the most potent, and that's where the efficacy happens. So because of that conversion, it's the least effective, but also is good for skin of color in terms of it's not going to irritate us. It's also got a group of antioxidants in it. So it's got beta carotene, BHT. It's also got thioctic acid. So these are all very good. And these are the reasons why I would put this product on at nighttime. Obviously, vitamin A you want to be putting on at nighttime as well. So that's how you would wear this. The thing I actually really love about this particular product is that there's no fragrance, there's no alcohol, there's no essential oils in it, which is, you know, think it was simple enough to make a skincare line without these things, but no, they seem to be in everything. So Hada Labo have done a very good job of making sure these key ingredients are not in this particular product. So I would actually say purchase this product. And you know how I very rarely tell you to do that, but actually I would buy this. So I'd apply this after you've cleansed your skin, then you apply this because it's your active cream, and then you apply your thick moisturizer on top in order to make sure that water is coming from your emollient, from your moisturizer, being attracted by the hyaluronic acid into the epidermis. And that's how you'd apply this. If I was the cosmetic formulator on this particular product, to make this from a good product to a great product, I would add two things. I'd add ceramides in it, and I'd change the retinol palmitate to retinaldehyde. As you all know, retinaldehyde is 20 times as effective as retinol. It's literally my favorite vitamin A. Okay, so the next product is the Centella Unscented Recovery Cream. The positives are that it's got emollients and anti-inflammatories in it. So it's got Centella asiatica, it's got squalene, it's got glycerin and ceramide. The negative is that it's got witch hazel. Now, witch hazel, as we've said, is often distilled in alcohol, which increases free radicals in your skin, which damage your skin over a long period of time. But also you've got increased tannins on the skin, and this can also sensitize the skin if you use it over a long period of time. So it's just avoid anything that has witch hazel on the back of the packaging. Yeah, so for me, this is not Dr. V approved.